Broncos Country. We're live. Welcome into the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. My name is Moose. Happy Tuesday to you, Broncos fans. And we have got a great show planned for you today. Now, usually we start off the show by giving you a chance to shout out your favorite city. However, this time, we're going to do things just a little bit differently. We're going to ask you to shout out your favorite current Broncos player. So let me know in the comment section down below who your favorite Broncos player is. Believe it or not, producer Dylan, my live chat isn't even working right now. My live chat isn't even working. Oh, there we go. Hold on. It's loading up. It's loading up. There we go. We got people in the chat right now, so go ahead and shout out your favorite current Broncos player right now, and I'm going to start giving some shout-outs. By the way, producer Dylan on the ones and twos today, why don't you say hello to everybody? It's your second time with Broncos Country. Same with me here. We're 2 for 2, Mr. Dylan.
Yeah, second time. We're going to make it even better than the first, right?
Hell yeah, that's what it's all about, brother. Yeah. It's about growing together as a duo. Now, I don't necessarily know if you're going to be my producer for Broncos games, because I know that your duties and your allegiance lies right now with an NFC North team, the Minnesota Vikings. So you'll probably be up there, up north, doing Skull Vikes on game day. But if you do have the opportunity to join us, we will absolutely welcome you in for sure. All right, let's start calling out some names right now. Garrett says Cortland Sutton. Delaney says Bo Nix. Joshua says Bo Nix. Michael, first Nick Bonito in the chat. Dolores says Nix. NBA, NFL, MMG says Nix. Matthew, what's up, brother? Good to see you. He says Nix. Brian says Nick Bonito. Danny with the Will Lutz going kicker on us. Right now, if I had to say my favorite player, it's a tough question. I should have probably worded this better, because you could ask who's your favorite player to watch or who's your favorite player in terms of their style of football. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like everybody has a different opinion there. So if I had to go with my favorite player, I'd have to say Cortland Sutton. I love the way he plays football. Joshua says Riley Moss. JK, gotta be Bo. Everybody's going to say, but good, like, the quarterback play is what draws people to the NFL, right? Can we all agree on that? In 2025, it's all about quarterback play. Delaney says, diehard Broncos fan since the Three Amigos days. That's dating yourself big time. JJ, PS2, a little Pat Surtain love. Same with Super Dave. Tyler Rocks, Bo Nix. Go, Bo. We've got 50 people watching right now. Thanks for tuning in today. Thanks for tuning in. By the way, I did start up a brand new Broncos social media page over on X. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a deal with you guys. I'm going to follow the first 10 people that follow me over on X. First 10 people, I'm going to go follow. So I'm going to open up my X right now. I can't believe I call it. Do you guys still call it Twitter? Like, it's Twitter, right, Dylan? I mean, I remember when Twitter first dropped. Like, I remember the very first day that Twitter became a thing, and everybody was so obsessed with it because you could just tweet basically what was going on with your life. So I don't necessarily know that I love calling it X. I don't know. How do you feel about it? It's just not my favorite.
It will always be Twitter.
It will always be Twitter. It'll always be Twitter. All right, I'm going to go follow the first 10 people that give me a follow at Moose_NFL. Producer Dylan's putting that in the live chat right now. All you have to do is click on the link. We made it super simple for you. Click on that link. Give me a follow. I'm going to shout you out if you followed me back, and I'm going to follow you as well. Conservative Patriots, definitely giving you a follow back, my friend. Thank you so much for watching. We did get a super chat. We'll put it up on screen here in just a second. If you haven't followed me, make sure you go give a follow real quick. I'm giving shout-outs right now. The real Donald Trump, but it's not the actual Donald Trump. Peyton, appreciate it. $10 super chat. Thank you so much for super chat. Next time, throw a little message on there. Whatever you want. You could say this guy sucks. He's got bad hair. Or if you want to talk about Broncos or ask your favorite Broncos question, we'll make sure to feature it in our mailbag, which is going to come up a little bit later on today. The real Donald Trump followed me, but it's not really Trump's. Judson, what's going on, brother? Thank you so much for following. Throw it up there for me. We're getting followers here. Hold on 1 second. I don't know why I'm not getting the notifications right now. There's got to be something wrong here with my Twitter. I'm not getting any notifications. There we go. Joshua followed me. What's up, Joshua? I'm going to follow you back right now, brother. There we go. They're starting to pile in now. If you guys all, I think you know what it might be? If they have a private account, I don't necessarily know that I'm getting the notification. Because I've only seen like 3, and I know 6 people have followed me just from this. Either way, we'll get back to it. I got to figure out what's going on with this stupid app. Absolutely hate it. Absolutely hate it. But Peyton, thank you so much for your super chat. And by the way, coming up here later on in our third segment, we do have our mailbag episode that we do every single time we go live. So make sure if you have a question for not only me or producer Dylan or just about the Broncos in general, make sure you use hashtag Broncos or super chat to skip the line, and you'll be the very first one featured. So if you want to throw in a super chat, we greatly appreciate it. Make sure you do that and or use hashtag Broncos. That'll be coming up shortly. Now, on today's show, we've got some great stuff planned for you today. I was deep searching the internet, and I was kind of looking for stuff that we could talk about today, and bingo, found some juicy stuff. Fox gave a very bold prediction for the Broncos 2025 season. When I say Fox, I mean Fox Sports. We're not talking about John Fox. Then some Broncos trade targets that maybe could round out their roster before the 2025 season. And, of course, our mailbag coming up at the very, very end. Delani. Sorry, I apologize. Delani. Super Dave, you're the best, brother. Underwater Girl. Ed McCaffrey and Shannon Sharp. I'm guessing those are your favorite players. Going back to the 90s. Tyler, how can you be on the show? Great question. Either hashtag Broncos or you send in a super chat. And if you send in a super chat, every single one goes on screen. Every single super chat will be thrown on screen. We'll answer all questions. So if you want to do that, we greatly appreciate it. But hashtag Broncos is the best next way to get on the show. We've got 39 people watching right now. Can we get up to 18 likes? We want a 50%er. So before we start our first segment, can we get up to 18 likes? I'm going to ask you guys to hit that thumbs up for us before we go through with our first segment. What do you think, Mr. Producer Dylan? Does that sound like a plan to you? Yeah, that's fine. I'll get on that. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that like button. Can you get on that real quick, actually? I got it. I got it real quick for you. Keep shouting out, guys. Hit that thumbs up button. 1 second. Sorry, a little behind the scenes action here for you guys. We'll start here in just a moment. Can you give some shout outs, Dylan, while we are waiting here real quick? Give some shout outs to people in the live chat right now.
Yeah, we got Danny in the building. We got Judson Cake. We got Mike, Underwater Girl. Let's see who else. We got Peyton's back. 4 months is so long, we can't wait. Yeah, Broncos football can't get around soon enough.
Absolutely agree with that statement wholeheartedly.
We got another Dylan in here saying Terrell Davis.
TD.
Delani
All right,
Waterman.
that should be good if you want to go check real quick. That should be in a little behind the scenes footage of how we move stuff over for you guys. 39 people watching. We got 22 likes, so we're going to start it up here in just a second after we get a quick check from producer Dylan, and then we'll get into how Fox gave the biggest bold prediction for the Broncos heading into the 2025 season. Did it load up? Okay, good. Good. Just wanted to make sure. Can't forget Shannon Sharp. No, of course not. Skip. Come on, Skip. Come on, Skip. All righty. Mr. Producer Dylan, are we ready? Okay. Super excited. Let's talk about how Fox gave the biggest bold prediction for the Broncos 2025 season. I was combing the edges of the internet, and I was looking for Broncos stories that really popped out to me. And believe it or not, one of the biggest contributors and broadcasters of NFL football came out with a very, very bold prediction and claim for the upcoming Broncos 2025 season. What's going on, Broncos Country? My name is Trace Mustakis, but you can call me Moose. And on today's episode, we're going to talk about what the Broncos predict what Fox Sports predicts for the Broncos 2025 season. I think it's important to go through the entirety of the schedule before we get into what Fox predicts. So if you take a look at what we've got weeks 1 through 4, we actually start off with a very favorable schedule. I know the Bengals have a lot of offensive firepower, but they usually don't start off very hot throughout the beginning of their seasons. Then it gets a little bit more difficult, not going to lie. That Eagles game is tough, and then you have to travel overseas against the Jets, who are not a tough opponent, but anytime you're traveling overseas, anything is possible. The Giants and the Cowboys, workable games, especially against the Giants. Cowboys, you got to bring your A game for sure. Week 9 through week 13, this is the toughest part of our schedule by a landslide. You got Texans, Chiefs, and Commanders in a 4-game swing. If you can go 3-1 during this stretch, you're home free. Followed by a pretty workable schedule, again, week 14 through 18. The last 2 games, a little bit tougher, but Packers and Jaguars, you should be able to take on the Jaguars with ease. And let's be honest, the Raiders shouldn't be a problem for us to work over as well. So, as I was reading through this article, the more and more excited I got because this particular NFL reporter named Henry McKenna was talking about the 2 teams on top of the NFL last year that seemingly look burnt out to him. Here's what he had to specifically say. The 2 teams that he mentioned, the Kansas City Chiefs and Detroit Lions. Now, he goes on to say that the Chiefs just put their heart and soul into the three-peat and failed brutally on the biggest of stages. And boy, was it sweet to see. And while he goes on to say that there's a big brother complex right now in the AFC West, he believes that Sean Payton has the ability, out of all of the different coaches in the AFC West, to overcome this the most. And then they showed us what the actual way too early predictions looked like. Oh, wouldn't this be awesome? Now, I know it's tough to see, but the Broncos have the 3 seed in this way too early prediction, and they would go head-to-head with the 6 seed, none other than the Kansas City Chiefs. So I thought I would take the time during this episode to explore how Denver can dethrone the mighty Kansas City Chiefs this year. I came up with a 4-step plan. And in this 4-step plan, if you were to follow these, at least in my opinion, you should have no problem beating the Kansas City Chiefs and winning the AFC West. Before I get into that, I've got a mission for you. Call this a little bit of homework, if you will. Send this video to a Broncos fan that's never seen our channel. This could be your mom, it could be your dad, it could be your brother, your sister, your friend, whomever. If they've never heard of the Broncos Breakdown, do me a favor, click that little share icon down there, copy this link, and send it either on your Twitter feed, on your Instagram, or through a text message. It helps us out either way. Let's get into the plan. All right, the first thing you have to do, you got to bully Mahomes in the pocket. It's just the only way that you can beat him. We have seen since he's entered the league, not only can he damage you from inside the pocket, but when he gets outside or he's facing the blitz, he can pick you apart any way that he chooses. However, the Eagles seemingly had the blueprint last year on how to make his life a living hell. And that was to rush 4, drop 7 back in coverage by swinging out one of your best edge defenders far outside so that he can either A, attack the edge, or B, move back in pass coverage. So it's kind of like it's not an RPO because that's a run pass option, but this is like an option defense where you can swing one of your edges outside to play back in pass coverage, or you can have him rush the quarterback. So my takeaway from this is, look, if you have 4 defensive linemen that rush back after the quarterback and you shift 7 players back in pass coverage, if those 4 defensive linemen can make Patrick Mahomes' life uncomfortable, you can crush him. And last year, I thought this was the year that Patrick Mahomes actually looked human. This, by far, was one of his worst seasons in the NFL, period. And they're still pretty good numbers. That's just the truth. We know what he's capable of doing, right? He's on a Hall of Fame trajectory. And we just got to call a spade a spade. He's still going to be great. But I think now that the apathy of getting to 3 straight Super Bowls, plus the blueprint that the Eagles lined up in that Super Bowl on how to get after him and make him uncomfortable from a pure passer perspective, that's the easiest way to get him off his game. And that's how you attack this plan, at least at first. The second part of this plan, don't give any easy games away. This feels like a no-brainer, and you have to have at least one of these on the list, right? And to me, this is just quite simply, the games that you're heavily favorited in, don't give away. Don't go into that feeling lackadaisical. Make sure you have a strong game plan from whomever you're facing. I can look at the first couple of weeks in particular. The Titans and the Colts, you should blow the brakes off of. The Titans are rolling out a brand new quarterback who has not played a single snap in the NFL. The Colts have no idea what they're doing at quarterback. And the Bengals always start off slow. So in my opinion, weeks 1 through 4, you should be 3-1 at worst. And then if you end the season on a high note, you should beat the Raiders, you should beat the Packers, and the Jags. Those last 2 games, toss up because they're divisional matchups, right? I know the Raiders is a divisional matchup as well, but we should have no problem, working that out in our schedule. But the last 2 games, the Chiefs on Christmas and then Chargers in Week 18. This feels like in these 5 games, at worst 3-2, probably 4-1. So the NFL's an any given Sunday kind of league, but let's take advantage of the weak defenses. Let's take advantage of the rookie and the subpar quarterback play. And if we can do that, then the Broncos have a prime position to stay atop of the AFC West. If you're losing to teams like the Jaguars and the Titans and the Colts, I can guarantee you the Chiefs are going to take advantage of that. So before I get on to plan steps 3 and 4, is this the year the Broncos dethrone the Kansas City Chiefs? Just let me know in the comment section down below. Yes or no? Super simple question. I say yes. I think it's going to be a rejuvenated year. I think there's a legit urgency. I think there's a plan in place. I think there's optimism in this Broncos locker room that this is the year the Chiefs take a step back. Number 3, rely on your pass rush. It is the best part about this team. You don't have 63 sacks in a season and, have that fly out of nowhere. Your best attributes, your best players are on the defensive line. And last year, we proved that we make opposing quarterbacks, we make it a nightmare to play the Broncos. They don't come into Empower Field at Mile High and expect an easy game, at least not from a clean pocket perspective. And this front 5, combined with the edge rushers that we have on both sides, it is a scary, scary group. Benito, Cooper, Allen, Franklin Myers, Jones. I mean, it's really good. It is really freaking good. And I want to be the first one that gets to call all of these games and say, there's another Broncos sack and another Broncos sack. It just makes me fired up thinking about what this defense is going to accomplish in 2025. Now, obviously, it's not just a good pass rush that you have to worry about. The entire defense has to show up as well, which means your cornerbacks, your safeties, they all have to show up and do their jobs as well. And I think with the additions that we made in not only free agency, but also in the draft, the Broncos are shaping up to have the best defense in the NFL, period, point blank. And I don't think that's a hot take. I think that's a pretty solid take here. Now, there is one player that I think can lead this team and take even the next step to becoming one of the top 5 edge rushers in the NFL, and that's Nick Bonito. And last year, I thought, whew, if this was the breakout year, if this was the year that Bonito showed us that he's destined for great things, if he stays healthy, can we be looking at a 15, 16 and a half sack guy? I think so. And all of this rounds out to one specific blanket statement. It's the Jim Harbaugh way of playing football. Dominate the lines. If you got a good offensive line to protect your quarterback and your defensive line can get after the quarterback, you are set. It's the ultimate foundation for a successful football team. Now, before I get on to my last part of my plan, make sure that you use this link right here to go start shopping with Fanatics today. This Broncos t-shirt is 25% off. So all you have to do is go to chatsports.com/Broncos T. Gear up for the 2025 season in style. They've got shirts. They've got jerseys, hats, gloves for every season and every occasion. So again, I made it super simple for you. I put this link in the comments and description of today's video. Just click on it and start shopping Fanatics today. The last part of this plan, you're going to like this. Believe in Bo. Listen, as I previously mentioned, if you can protect your quarterback and get after the quarterback, there's a common denominator. It's the quarterback. This doesn't need to be said. 2025, it's a quarterback-driven league. The best quarterbacks go the furthest in the playoffs and they win Super Bowls. And last year, as a rookie, tell me what's wrong with these numbers. I'll wait for a second for you to find something wrong. Okay, maybe the 12 interceptions. But look, for a guy who was figuring it out as the season went along, who obviously went through the first few weeks with growing pains, I loved what Bo Nix showed us last year. And one of the things that even I, scouting him as a prospect a couple years ago, was thinking was he's an on-script quarterback. He's not a guy that can get it done with his legs. I was happily proven wrong. He made so many plays with his legs. He's way more athletic than any of us gave us credit for. And if there's one thing that I can highlight from last season, it's this. Just take a look at this real quick. Mahomes' passer rating last year for the entirety of the season, 93.5. 0.2 higher than Nix. And if there was one piece of advice that I could give Bo heading into year 2, it would be this. Balance the on-script with the off-script. You're already great at executing the game plan. We saw it. If you can pick and choose your times to be amazing outside of the pocket or to scramble for a first down, that's going to take you from a really good rookie quarterback and a good prospect to a dark horse candidate for MVP. And I think he will be. The only player that you can objectively say had a better rookie season last year than Bo Nix was Jaden Daniels. Bo was better than Caleb. He was better than Drake May. He was better than Michael Penix. And I think it's inches, not feet, when it comes to Jaden and Bo. And I think this is the year that Bo shows us what he's made of. So this is my 4-step plan right here. Bully Mahomes in the pocket. Don't give any easy games away. Lean on your pass rush. It's what you do great. And Bo leave in our QB. Now, before I end today's show, if you're a lifelong Denver Broncos fan, do me a quick favor. It's super easy. Type DB4L in the comment section. Let me know that you're a Denver Broncos lifer right down there in the comments and description of today's, or excuse me, not the description, but the comments of today's video. My name is Moose. Until next time, be cool. Sweet. Good stuff, producer Dylan. I got to tell you, I like working with you, Dylan. You're super efficient, my friend. Super efficient. 75 people watching right now. Rudolph says he's going to be at the Commanders game this year. That is a hell of a game to go see. I would be super excited to go see that. By the way, I am going to try and get out to Denver by the end of June. Obviously, Chat Sports is located here in Dallas. So my goal is to try and get out there and explore the city again and again and again. Danny, appreciate that, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. Those are kind words. He said, Moose, you've had big shoes to fill. Matthew Peterson was an excellent host and friend. You're doing great. # Broncos. Thank you, my friend. By the way, Petey's last day is on Friday. Sad to see. Sad to see a legend here at Chat Sports go. But he's going to do great things. He's going to do great things. Danny's flying to see the Philly game. All right. Is this the year the Broncos dethrone the Kansas City Chiefs? Let me know in the comment section down below. It's also the pinned poll right now in our live chat. So if you want to ask that, JK said, Moose, this is the first video in which I decided I like you. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Thanks, yes. Also appreciate that, man. Listen, I understand change is hard, right? Like, I get it. Like, when you've been used to somebody for 3 years and you've grown with them not only as a fan base, but you've made a connection with this specific host, I totally get it, man. I really do. So it is going to take time to build some rapport with me, and I get it. I understand the skepticism, but it's my goal and my, what do you want to call this, Dylan? It's my, I guess goal is the right word for it. It's my goal to take this channel to the very best that I can take it. And I'm going to be right there with you guys every single Sunday, cheering this team on. I'm super passionate about Denver Broncos football. I can't wait for the 2025 season. Cannot wait. Mike says yes. Rudolph says yes. JJ, he says yes. Tyler, 12-5 with the number 1 defense. Love that. Broncos win it all. Woo! I mean, you got to beat the Eagles. Got to beat the Bills. Got to beat the Chiefs. The Ravens are tough. NFC teams that are really going to be good this year. The Rams will be good again this year as well. The Lions are also going to be good. There's a lot of good teams at the top. Broncos are also very good. I want to see us win more than one playoff. I want to see us win a playoff game first. I know last year was a really, really, kind of disappointing end to a pretty good season. JK says, that a boy, Moose, let's get some. Let's get some. All right. Mr. Dylan, I believe we have a ask of our friends watching right now, all 63 of them. Here's what we're going to do. We are going to ask that Dylan go into sub-only mode on the chat. We're going to throw up the sub counter. Here's what I'm going to ask you to do. If you want to have our channel grow and become the fastest moving and fastest growing Broncos channel on YouTube, hit subscribe. And if you've already hit subscribe, here's what I'm going to want you to do. Type me down in the chat below. So if you've hit subscribe, that's great. Type me in the chat. I'm going to give shout outs to all the real ones who have already subscribed. So here we go. Start shouting out those me guys. We got 70 people watching right now. 70 people. I can pretty much bet that not all 70 people are subscribed. There we go. See? I knew it. There was at least one in there, producer Dylan. Start typing me if you've already been subscribed. Jacob says me. He's a real one. Mike, he says me. Matthew says me. JJ says me. Nick, me. Tyler, me. Tyler, me. 2 different Tylers, by the way. Judson says me. Joshua says me. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button and then say me in the chat below. JK says me. Zach says me. Darrell says me. Or is it Daryl? Is it Darrell or Daryl? Danny says the channel was at 11,000 subs. It's almost a day oneer right there. You could throw up that weigh-in, by the way, Dylan, if you want. Put that up there and get some me's going in the chat. Rudolph says me. Delani says me. Says, where the heck is the button? It's that big red sub button. I think it's red. It might be black now. I'm not entirely sure. Either way, it's free. Oh, that is a good point. It does depend on what YouTube background you have. I didn't know that. You learn things every single day. John Elgue. Yo. What up, brother? Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Our next segment, which is going to be coming up here in just a couple minutes, is going to be all about Denver Broncos trade targets. Two final players that have been floated out in the ether across the internet as players that could potentially round out the Broncos roster heading into 2025. Spoilers, one player I don't think fits at all, but that's all I'm going to say about it. That's the last thing I'm going to say about it. Delani, yeah, you know, I know you already subscribed, man. I knew. Tyler, you can have backgrounds on YouTube. You can actually go change it in your settings. David, that is a good question. Use hashtag Broncos and I'll answer that on our mailbag. It's a good question. I'll answer that in our mailbag. But you got to use hashtag Broncos. Judson, that's a good guess. Those aren't the players. But it's a good guess. I did a video yesterday on CJ Mosley. And I wouldn't mind. Listen, I know Petey had made a video a couple months ago. I actually produced it. Where he was talking about bringing Von Miller back. I think bringing Von back on a 1-year deal so that he can retire a Bronco is good. But if your idea is you're going to bring back Von to really help out the team, I got news for you. His best days are behind him. And that's okay. Father Time's undefeated. But if you wanted to bring him back as kind of like that veteran presence in the locker room, I'd have no issue with that whatsoever. Miller time would be nice. All right. Mr. Producer Dylan, are we ready to start our second segment? All right, let's jump in and start talking about the two trade targets that could potentially help round out the Broncos roster. The internet is a funny place, don't you think? I mean, as I was doing my research for this video, I came across an article that floated out two players' names that are currently in the NFL that wanted to see these guys go to the Broncos ahead of the 2025 season. What's going on, Broncos Country? My name is Moose, and like I said on today's episode, we're going to explore those two players and decide, would the Broncos be in their right mind to trade for these two players? Now, the guy's name that wrote this article, his name is Enzo Flojo. He's from a company called Clutch Points, which can take or leave. They have some good articles. They have some ones that I think are way off base. But here's what the specific article was talking about. They went on to say good things about the Broncos, saying they ranked 10th in the NFL last season in overall team PFF defensive grade. Thankfully, the front office has only doubled down on that strength in 2025. Goes on to say that the Denver's front office wants to maximize this promising offseason with two trade targets standing out on both offering, immediate impact and depth where the Broncos need it most. All right, so from that quote by itself, we can reasonably infer that there are some players that we can potentially target. So who is the first one that we have to talk about? Travis Etienne, running back from the Jaguars. Former first-round pick in 2021, who missed the entirety of his rookie season with a foot injury, but then came back in 2022 and basically took the league by storm. I remember drafting Travis Etienne on my fantasy team in 2023 based off of the 2022 season that he had. Now, to say that he's been an up and down player is probably the understatement of the century. This guy is a roller coaster through and through. He's got amazing performances where you're like, this guy might be a top 5 running back in the NFL. And then he has a season like he did in 2024. And it was straight into the toilet. These numbers are brutal. And he played in 15 games. His PFF grade sucked. Yards sucked. Found the end zone only twice. His role sincerely and significantly diminished. His season was brutal. And for that reason, I have to take a step back, sorry, Mr. Enzo, and say, why on earth would the Broncos want to pursue a player like Travis Etienne? It just doesn't make any sense. But then I started thinking, okay, well, you have to say some good things about the player and you have to say some bad things about the player. So how about a little pros and cons list for you? What are the pros from Travis Etienne? Well, he's got great dual threat ability. So not only has he shown the ability to do it on the ground, but also through the air. He's got great hands. He has shown to have playmaking ability, so he can bust the big play, find the end zone when he's, on the very best of his game. He finds the end zone a lot. He's dangerous in open field. So you give him a little bit of space, he's going to burn you. But what about the cons? Well, again, the efficiency, probably the biggest one. It's up and down, all over the place. He's an injury-prone player. Obviously, that massive foot injury did not do him any favors. And he lacks raw power in the backfield as a north to south runner. I can kind of look past that. But the Jaguars did something interesting in the 2025 draft. They drafted 2 running backs, Bashil Tootin and LaQuint Allen Jr. Now, you probably haven't heard of many of these players, or either of them, to be completely frank, but something definitely came to my mind that stood out when I saw these 2 draft picks. Etienne doesn't fit the mold of what Liam Cohen's scheme is. He's going to be phased out. Sorry. I mean, the way that Cohen ran the Bucs last year was they wanted a player that could not only have the raw power in the backfield, but they wanted a player that would complement that with Rashad White and Bucky Irving. And Bucky Irving last year showed that he took the biggest leap forward in Liam Cohen's offense. So with Tank Bigsby, LaQuint Allen, Bashil Tootin, and now Travis Etienne, which one of those 4 players, in your opinion, is going to be phased out of the offense? Spoiler, it's Etienne. Now, before I get on and I give you my opinion on if the Broncos should trade for Etienne, this is why you subscribe. You're going to get all the best news and rumors surrounding your favorite team. And when the 2025 season starts up, you're going to have chances to win sweet Broncos gear. And by the way, this channel, completely free. Doesn't cost you a dime. So hit that sub button right now and lock us in. So would I trade for Travis Etienne? Drum roll, knock on wood. Let's throw it up there. And the answer, of course, is hell no. Why would I want to trade for Travis Etienne? Why would I want a question mark when we drafted R.J. Harvey? And R.J. Harvey fits the Joker mold way better than Travis Etienne does. Now, granted, Sean Payton likes the dual threat player, especially in the running back. You saw it with Alvin Kamara. You saw it with Darren Sproles. But Etienne's a lot closer to Sproles than he is Kamara. And I think, at least me personally, that R.J. Harvey's going to be a stud. I just think that there's a reason you drafted him in the second round when so many different draft analysts had him falling to rounds 5, 6, and 7. The Broncos see something in him. Sean Payton sees something in him. There is no need to go out and trade for a player like Travis Etienne. I think the backfield is set. I think they're going to roll out with Harvey, McLaughlin, and Estime. And I'm expecting good things from Audric Estime as well. I'm a huge Notre Dame Fighting Irish fan. I watched him play every single snap at Notre Dame. He has potential. He's just got to mold his game, tweak the fine-tuned parts of his game, and get better and better. So I'll ask you this. Would you trade for Travis Etienne? Yes or no? My answer, I think you heard me say it pretty emphatically. It's a no. Sorry, Travis. I just don't see you wearing, any Broncos uniform anytime soon. Now, before we get into my next player, I do have to tell you about our amazing sponsor, and that is Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. It's super simple. All you have to do is go over to the Prize Picks app, click that download button, and start playing today. The basketball playoffs is here. Obviously, the Eastern and Western Conference Finals are getting geared up to play, and obviously the Denver Nuggets got bounced by the team that just made the Western Conference Finals in the Oklahoma City Thunder. But you can take your playoff hot takes into this basketball season with Prize Picks, starting with the play-in round and going up all the way to that championship. All you have to do is go over there, pick more or less on your favorite players for whatever statistics you want to talk about. And then, boom, you have the chance to win 2,000 times your cash. It's that simple. Now, all you do, go to the app, like I said, use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. Okay. The second player that was listed in this article, a player that personally I saw great things from last year before he got injured. Saints wide receiver Rashid Shaheed, or as our Saints Now host says, Rashid, the need for speed, Shaheed. And one thing about Shaheed is his ability to take the top off on you. It's unmatched. There are a very short list of players that can stretch the field vertically like he can. But Enzo goes on to say this in his article. Denver's receiving core is in a flux. Note that Courtland Sutton is in the final year of his contract. Sure, young talents like Marvin Mims and rookie Pat Bryant offer upside. However, they're still unproven. Bryant, in particular, isn't likely to stretch defenses vertically after posting a modest 4.61 and 40-yard dash at the combine. I kind of disagree with that, but neither here nor there. That's where Rashid Shaheed comes into play. The Saints receiver is one of the fastest players in the NFL. He's a legitimate burner who can take the top off defense and flip field position with a single play. That part's true. Shaheed is a burner on the outside. Now, last year, he was on a massively upward trajectory when it came to his production on the field. And then, unfortunately, that meniscus injury didn't do him any favors. But take a look at what he was doing before that injury happened. 20 receptions, 349 yards, 3 touchdowns with a bomb of a play in week 2 against, I believe that was against the Chiefs. So I look at Rashid Shaheed and I say, okay, you're great at what you do, but where's the development in your game? Where's the part where I can say, yes, this is a guy that we need to add to our wide receiver room today? I made a little pros and cons list as well. He's got elite downfield speed. He's great in terms of his yards per reception. So every time he catches the ball, it's a chunk play. He's got reliable hands for a guy that can actually stretch the field like that. So for a vertical player, I have no problem with his ability to find the nose of the football and locate the point of attack. What are the cons? Well, he doesn't have much of a route tree. It's kind of a one-trick pony. Those kind of bleed into each other. He just goes on go routes. He runs the field as fast as he can. It's pretty much his only move. And that meniscus surgery, who knows what that's going to do for his mobility and his speed. Now, why would Shaheed want to request a trade? Well, Derek Carr retired. That's the one thing. So they're either rolling with Spencer Rattler or Tyler Shuck, who they drafted in round 2 of the 2025 NFL draft. And I don't think Derek Carr was a great NFL quarterback, but he's a hell of a lot more proven than the guys in their room. So maybe this is his opportunity to say, I don't want a year of unprovenness. I want to earn my next contract. I want to be on a team with a quarterback that I know is going to get me the football. And if we take a look at the Broncos wide receiver room, I think there's a spot for him in here, but it's not a necessity, right? Like, I think Marvin Mims is going to be the Rashid Shaheed of this team. We saw it at the very end last year. Believe it or not, they both played special teams, so Shaheed actually is no stranger to kind of the exact play style of Marvin Mims. However, Marvin Mims, I believe, has higher upside. I think we saw what Shaheed was capable of last year before the injury. Now, that doesn't mean that he's capped out, but we've already seen from both of these players the ability to stretch the field. So, do you need another one that can do it? If you were asking Moose, my answer would be sure-ish. Maybe, look, again, if it's for the right price, if you were able to get him on a steal, I would say, why the hell not? But I'm not saying an emphatic yes. I think Sean Payton, I think George Payton, I think they know that this wide receiver room has the ability to be one of the most underrated in the NFL. Pat Bryant is going to be a hell of a player. I'm so happy that we drafted him. My stock on him is rising. I have all the confidence in the world in Marvin Mims and Devon Vele. Cortland Sutton's already great. So I think with Bo entering year 2, Troy Franklin entering year 2, you are going to see this team take the next step on offense, and that starts with the wide receiver room. So again, same kind of question. Should the Broncos trade for wide receiver Rashid Shaheed? Trade or pass? I'll say trade, but it's a very soft trade. I'm going to say for the right price. So there's an asterisk up there. It's a caveat. All right, that's going to do it for us on today's episode. Remember to subscribe, like the video, and share this with a Broncos friend in your life. Until next time, my name is Moose. Be cool. Sweet. Good stuff, Producer Dylan. Good stuff indeed. A lot of people saying pass right now. Buckeye says trade. 81 people in the building right now. What's going on, Broncos Country? If you have just joined us, welcome. My name is Moose. We got Producer Dylan on the ones and twos. Troy Franklin does still have potential. One of the things that I hate about the world that we live in, especially when it comes to the NFL media, and I'm guilty of this as well, so I'm not saying that I'm above this. We're very quick to judge players too quickly. Like, once they get to about week 9 or week 10 in their rookie season, if they're not producing the way that we feel they should be producing, we're like, they're a bust. No, like, it takes time for some players to develop. The speed of the NFL game is unlike anything these players have ever seen. So it does take time. I totally get it. I will say this, though. If Troy is not performing by Thanksgiving of this year, then you can start to throw up the red flags and the question marks. I agree with that. Very, very, that's one of my, Thanksgiving year 2 has to be, you have to show us what you are. And if the answer is, I still need more time, are you ever going to be a top-tier dominant player in the NFL? Probably not. Probably not. Okay. Mr. Producer Dylan, how do we look on our questions so far? Say that again? We could use some more? Okay. So here's what we're going to ask you. We got 75 people watching right now. Hashtag Broncos right now to get your question in, if you have one, for our mailbag episode. If you want to be featured on a Broncos Breakdown episode, make sure you use hashtag Broncos. I'm going to start calling out people who haven't gotten their questions in. And if you have gotten your question in, let me know. Judson, I want a question from you. Truce, I want a question from you. Tyler and Matthew, same here. I want a question from you. Hashtag Broncos. JK, same thing. Give me a question that producer Dylan can use, and we'll put it up on our mailbag episode. Say that again? Okay. Let's get some more questions in. We can't start our mailbag until we get more questions, guys. Kaiden, I appreciate that, but let's get a question behind that hashtag Broncos. There we go, Michael. Thank you. Appreciate that. Delani, I would like you to ask that question in the forms of a hashtag Broncos. Matthew Close, ask a question behind it. Well, I guess that's kind of a question. We could use that, right? Yeah, don't use the emoji for the hashtag, Matthew. Use the regular hashtag. There you go, Mark. Appreciate that. Keep going, guys. There we go. Tyler, appreciate it. I want to feature you guys on our next episode. Underwater Girl, if you want to ask a question, hashtag Broncos. By the way, do you have the, can you go really quickly to the Photos tab? Pull up the Raiders photo down there. It should be labeled something very wildly inappropriate. Do you see it? It should say Raiders. No, close. There we go. All right, put that up on screen real quick. Bang. So it's funny. When I first started as the Broncos host, which was early last week, so I haven't been doing it very long. It's only been not even a week and a half yet. Mitchell Renz, the host of the Raiders Report, who, granted, has done an excellent job with the channel, basically told me that there was no way that we were going to beat them in May subscribers. And I was like, okay, game on. He actually used the Broncos version of this photo, which I'm not going to show you because why would anybody want to see that? I know you guys want to see this. So this was for Mitchell Renz. This was my little gift to him, his little wedding gift, so to speak. So shout out to you, Raiders fans. I thought that was fun. They actually have the Chiefs and the Chargers ones. I'll end up going to find those later on. Maybe we'll put those up on our next live show. All right. We should have plenty of questions here. Whew. It's hot in the studio, Dylan. Fun fact, by the way, before we get started. Yeah, no, I agree. Before we get started, the chat sports offices here have been literally ice cold for weeks. And we actually took the temperature one day. It was 58 degrees in one of the studios. Like, it was freezing cold. And now it feels like it's gone the exact opposite. It now feels like it's like 75 in here. It's really hot. I just want it to make up its mind, Dylan. I just want it to be an even 68. Is that too much to ask? Exactly. Not too hot, not too cold. Okay. Let's start off or get to our last segment here, which is our Broncos mailbag. Any second now. Welcome in, Broncos Country, to our mailbag edition of Broncos Breakdown Live, which airs every single Tuesday at 4 p.m. Central Time, 3 p.m. Mountain Time. Before we get into our most pressing Broncos questions, I want you to do me a favor. Hit that thumbs up button for us on today's video. It helps us put more Broncos content on your YouTube timeline. With that being said, let's get into our very first question from Kaiden. Broncos, will Bo Nix break out this season, or will he have the sophomore setback? So the sophomore slump is a real thing. As quarterbacks get more tape on them, opposing defensive coordinators and head coaches will start to study them more. They'll find out the strengths and the weaknesses of every single quarterback. With that being said, though, I do not see for one single second how Bo goes into a sophomore slump. He was too good last year. And one of the things that I feel like rookie quarterbacks get into a bad habit of is they want to play so much on script. And that's because they're either not ready for the moment to play outside of the pocket or let a play develop and go through their progressions. They want to get the ball out to the guy that the play was designed for. Bo last year, surprising to all of us, showed us how athletic he was at making plays happen with his legs, extending plays on the run and throwing outside of the pocket as well. So I think if you couple that with his ability to play on script and the creative play calling that Sean Payton has displayed, there's no doubt in my mind that not only will he beat the sophomore slump allegations, but he's going to be a dark horse candidate for MVP. Thank you, Kaiden, for your question. Danny, after Sutton, who will be the Broncos' leading wide receiver in 2025? If you would have asked me this question 2 weeks ago, I would have told you it would have been Marvin Mims. But the more and more that I'm getting, starting to think about it, and the more and more I hear about this kid, I think it's going to be Pat Bryant. And hear me out. At Illinois, they had a run-first offense. So Pat Bryant wasn't even the focal point of that offense with his quarterback, Luke Altmaier, I believe is his name. So I think when you get Bryant on the opposite end of Courtland Sutton at the X and the Y position, you're going to see that the number one corner on defending teams, on opposing teams, is going to go cover Courtland Sutton. That leaves Bryant one-on-one with either a CB2 or a slot corner. I think he's good enough at the point of attack and good enough in contested catching to go up and make things happen when the ball comes his way. So I honestly think it's going to end up being Pat Bryant. But I appreciate your question. Thank you so much for asking it, Danny. JK. Moose. If you were the Broncos head coach, how much would you have been willing to trade for Genty? 2 first-rounders and a third? Worse or better? This is a good question. I probably would have gone with 1 first-round pick in 2026. So I would have done a pick swap with pick 20 that we had this year. So the Raiders would have ended up getting pick 20 and next year's first, and maybe a compensatory pick in the 5th or the 6th round in 2026 or 2027. But I wouldn't have gone that much higher. And the reason I say that is because you're not moving up to the first round. You're not moving up to the first overall pick. And also, you're not taking a quarterback. As much as running back, I feel like is going to have a resurgence at the position in 2025, let's be honest. It's still a quarterback-driven league. So I think the Broncos were interested, and I'm sure the Raiders threw out some crazy numbers. And we're like, yeah, it's going to take X, Y, and Z. And the Broncos are like, yeah, screw that. We're not going to go for that. We can easily find somebody who is a step below Genty in round 2, round 3, or round 4. And to our, surprise and our, what's the correct word? Astonishment? That's not correct. I don't even know where that word came from. To our surprise and to our benefit, I should say, we took RJ Harvey in round 2. So thank you, JK, for your question today, my friend. Thanks for getting on the show. Corey, what teams in the AFC West are going to make the playoffs? Broncos are the number 1, then the Chiefs. I actually don't think the Chargers make it this year. I think they are right on the edge. They're going to fight for that 7 seed like they did last year, and I don't think the Raiders are going to make it either. I think the Raiders have gotten the train back on the tracks, but let's be honest. You think Geno Smith is going to take that team to new heights? I don't think so. I don't think they're good enough yet. So the 2 teams that are going to make the playoffs this next year, Chiefs, my homeboy and Andy Reid, they're going to make it. You kind of know that. And the Broncos, for sure. Thanks for asking. Now, before we get on to more of our questions, make sure you start shopping with our friends at Fanatics today. If you want to gear up for the very best, with all the best gear in the 2025 season, make sure you do it with this link right here. This Broncos Nike tee is 25% off right now. All you have to do is go to chatsports.com/BroncosT and make sure that you start shopping with our friends today. T-Mac, Broncos, how many INTs will Jahdae Barron have? It's a good question. 3. I'm going to say 3, and I think they come towards the end of the year. He might have 1 earlier on, but I also feel like Jahdae is going to be trying to show his physicality earlier on in the 2025 season. I think he's going to try and throw his weight around. I think when he gets onto the field, he's going to be so amped up that he's going to show that he's a big-time playmaker. He needs to learn a little bit, in my opinion, to sit back and let the play develop in front of him. He does have the ball hawk talent that you're looking for in a slot corner. He's actually so versatile. You're going to see him play safety as well this year. He'll play all over the field. He's kind of one of those like jack-of-all-trades player. So one of the things that I think you're going to see is he's going to try and show that he has the ability to do everything without really honing in on the skill portion of his game. And that'll come later on in the season. I don't doubt that it'll happen in 2025, but when will it happen is going to be the question. Truce. Will the Broncos team top the 2015 Broncos? I think they will. That is a tough ask. That was a great team. I don't think you can say wholeheartedly that it's a better team. I mean, we were loaded that year. That defense was something scary. But I will say this. This is the most talented Broncos team since that year. And I don't think that's much of a debate. I think a lot of us can agree that if that team is at the upper echelon of Broncos teams, this team is like right here. So it's going to be a very, very good team, and I'm excited to see what we have going forward. Thanks, Truce, for your question. Michael, do you think RJ will be RB1 week 1? Good question. No, not week 1. I think weeks 1 and 2, you're going to see that rotational side come out, and Sean Payton is going to use him in strategic moments. That doesn't mean that he's not going to see the field much. But remember, his play style is not a bell cow back. He's not a 3-down back like Saquon Barkley is. It's just not his style of play. Now, could you line up Harvey in an RPO? Could you line him up in the slot? Could you have him, on first and second down? Absolutely. So I think the first couple of weeks, you're going to see Harvey used in a lot more strategic ways. But then weeks 3 and then on, more traditionally, like you would see a normal running back or RB1. But thank you, Michael, for your question. Josh, do you think if one or more of our younger receivers steps up this year, Sutton could get traded by the deadline? I don't think Sutton's going to get traded. The Broncos are already working on an extension right now. In fact, I saw something today that was floated out there, and maybe I'll make a video on it later this week, that the projection is $98 million right now for his next contract extension. So I don't think that's going to happen. Get that out of your mind. I think Pat Bryant for sure, but I also think that you're going to see Marvin Mims take the next step. Would it be so crazy to say this? Your X and your Y are Sutton and Bryant. Your guy that takes the top off is Marvin Mims. Could you then put Troy Franklin in the slot and have him work over the middle of the field? I think that's a great combination. I don't see why that wouldn't work, especially with the rapport that Bo and Franklin already have. I feel like that could be an easy player to put right there in the slot and work over the middle of the field. The real question is, who's going to be the guy that stretches the field and who's going to be more of the route runner? Cortland, Pat Bryant are going to be your route runners, and Mims is going to be the guy that takes the top off of you. Thanks, Josh. Tyler, can Bo go 4,300 yards passing and 40 touchdowns with 10 interceptions? Boy, you're throwing out some video game-like numbers there. I'll do you one better. I'll predict Bo's stat line. I'm going to say a little over 4,000 yards, not quite 4,100. So 4,060 yards. I'll say 33 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. I feel like that's pretty good. That's a really solid stat line. That's a better than 3-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. I think you have to be very, very careful about getting 40 touchdowns. That is a very hard number to get, right? Like you have to be almost at 3 touchdowns per game to get those kind of numbers. But I do think Bo's going to have a better year than he did last year. But 4,000 yards, 33 touchdowns, 9 picks. I feel like that's a good starting spot for year 2. That's going to do it for us on today's mailbag edition of Broncos Breakdown. Remember to like the video, subscribe if you haven't, and share this with a Broncos fan in your life. Until next time, my name is Moose. Be cool. Whoo! Dylan, it is hot in here, man. I am sweating bullets. It's got to be. It's got to be. I'm feeling, maybe I need a Gatorade. I have to start hydrating when I come in here. I came in here raw dogging today. Just didn't feel like getting anything. I was like, I'll be fine. By the way, here's a question for you before we end today's live stream. What's your favorite Gatorade flavor? There's only one right answer, by the way. But I'm not going to say it yet. I want to get a couple of people we got 57 people watching. Throw your favorite Gatorade flavor in the chat below, and I'll tell you if you're correct. No, there's only one correct flavor, Dylan. Actually, you know what? Jump on the mic real quick. Jump on the mic. Dylan, I'll ask you first. Best Gatorade flavor, period, point blank. What is it?
Glacier Freeze.
You're wrong.
What, you gonna say the lemon lime one?
No! God, no. God, no. It's not lemon lime. Although lemon lime is classic. Joshua's got it. Joshua, I knew I could count on you. Josh is the fucking man. Pardon my French. It's orange. Orange is the best flavor. Michael, I don't even know what kind of Gatorade you're drinking, brother. Cucumber lime. Cool Blue's good too, Super Dave.
I think it really depends what you're doing. Like, there's a Gatorade flavor for, like, if you are working out.
You know, for somebody who plans out his meals like you do, that doesn't surprise me, Dylan.
No, there's actually a study on it, so it's not just
There's
me.
a study on this? I would love to see that. You know what? How about this? I'll do you one better. If you can find that study for me, I will throw it in on next week's live show.
Okay.
We'll find a way to put it. Might be in between one of the segments. But there is no way that there's a study on that. That's BS. I'm calling it. Peter says Cool Blue. No, Joshua knows. Joshua knows. It's orange. It's orange by far. Gatorade Frost, the purplish blue, purple drank, says Danny. That purple stuff. Oh my God. Hold on. Let me just fix my hair real quick. I got sweat beating down every part of me. Whoa. Okay. All right. We're going to end this. We're going to end this live show here in just a second. This is your last chance to get any super chats that you want to get into. Remember, it helps us greatly here on the channel. And by the way, if you want sweet Broncos gear that we're going to give away all 2025 season long, make sure you sub your super chat because those types of things help us order more gear. So if you want Bo Nix jerseys, RJ Harvey jerseys, Pat Bryant jerseys, Pat Surtain jerseys, super chatting is the best way to make that type of stuff possible. So hit subscribe if you haven't. Type me in the comments once you have. I'll give a couple more shout-outs before we end it off. Josh, what's up? G-Trons. G-Tron says, nah, your boy is right. Glacier Freeze is the one. All right. I'll give that to you, Dylan. I'll give you that one. Green Apple from Judson. Green Apple's good, too. Listen, I love all Gatorade. I think that should be stated. Like, there's not one Gatorade flavor that I'm like, ew, gross. Gatorade's great. Danny, what's up? Thanks for grape. Is that what you said? You don't like grape? No. You and my fiance would get along very, very well. All right. Last couple of minutes here to get your super chats. We'll end this in 1 minute. They never have the bigger size. By the way, I don't know if you guys agree with this too. If you get the twist cap Gatorade, you know what I'm talking about? The nipple cap. My fiance and I call it a titty top, which take that for what you will. You can start using that if you want. It just tastes better. Does it not? Like, it's more refreshing. Mark, you're a real one as well. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, hit the thumbs up button for us as well. Will do, G-Trons. I'll make sure I do that. All right. We'll give it another 20 seconds, and then we'll end today's show. Appreciate everybody that tuned in today. This was my second Broncos live show. Listen, it's all fun. You know, we're trying to grow together as a channel. We're trying to grow together and make sure that this, goes to the next heights that it can reach. And I'm super excited for the future. I can't wait for the 2025 season. And shout out to you guys for being the best fans in the entire YouTube atmosphere. All right. That'll do it for us on today's Broncos Breakdown episode and our live show. Remember, always stay cool. Always like the video. Always hit that subscribe button. Until next time, Broncos Country, be cool.